Well, I'm pretty happy with my new wood stove in the bunkie cabin. This is the all-new certified Grizzly stove from Cubic Mini. It's a high-efficient gasification stove, and with their new certification, you can actually install it right in your house. So this video is going to be literally everything you need to know about this unit and installing a wood stove. We're going to go through all of the features of this, how the certification works, all the accessories, assembling it, installing it, and I'm even going to show you how I installed a 6-inch insulated WETT certified chimney. So if I wanted to install this in a house or a building that I want insurance for, I can get insurance as well. There's literally nothing better than sitting back in the winter and looking at that. This is the all-new Cubic Mini certified Grizzly wood stove. The Grizzly is their larger model, and they just came out with a new certified model. What does that mean? For Canada and the USA, you can put this in a permitted building like your house, and it's okay to do so. They'll pass it, and you can even get insurance. So what you have to do is have a WETT certified insulated chimney properly installed by a WETT certified person, or do it yourself like I did and get it WETT certified inspected, so you have that piece of paper. Then you can get home insurance. Now it is summertime and it does cool down in the evening, so I can just have a little fire in the evening. But actually today I need more air conditioning than this. So yeah, it's really hot out, air conditioning's going, but the Blue Eddy is at 97% battery, so who cares? But you wanted to install the wood stove in the summertime so that it's ready for winter. Yet when you season it, make sure everything's working properly so it's ready for winter. So I'm just getting ready to install all of the chimney, the main 6-inch chimney. So I'm going to install the base. It's just a few pieces so that I can stand the stove up outside and have a burn outside. By then I should be done installing the 6-inch chimney. This is so cute. I'm so excited. I definitely notice as I get older, my hands don't work as good for finicky little things. This would be a better job suited for my children. So simple, I didn't even read the instructions. Don't tell anybody though. This is the little fireplace tool holder that goes on each side for the little fireplace tools. And then set the 4 little bolts. There she goes. Oh, that's so cute. I'm getting excited now. Attach the stove to the base. It's pretty simple. I'm so excited for winter. Just getting ready to take this outside. So this one is the primary combustion slider, high and low. You can see the air, more air, less air. This is the secondary combustion slider. Pull it out for high and this for low. Pretty straightforward. It's a high efficient little stove. And they said for your outside burn, get a couple pieces of pipe that just slip together. There she goes. It's a little hard lining up these things because it's a double wall stovepipe. But yeah, this is what this one is right from the Cubic Mini company. I think I got her. Come on. There we go. So we want a nice hot fire outside to burn off any chemicals and paint from manufacturing to kind of season the stove. But it's a 2-hour good hot burn outside, get all that smell out of it, and then kind of leave it outside for about a day. And then I can install it. So let's have a fire while I install the 6-inch chimney.
all my little scraps and cutoffs from other jobs around the shop. Now here's your best survivalist tool I have in my hands. The best fire starter ever for all you survivalists. I have a lifetime supply of these. Open air, high and high, I guess. It's already pulled a draft with those 2 pieces of chimney. So not much smoke is coming out. So I'm installing the chimney straight up with that insulated chimney as well. So my kids could start a little fire with the door open. I want a good draft. I thought about angling a chimney out the side and up, but I want to make sure that I have a good draft for anybody that, you know, is not me. And they'll be like, why is there smoke coming in the cabin? So I guess we want the fire to be very, very hot, because what we're after is burning off any paint and chemicals from manufacturing to make sure that when we do install this in the cabin, there's no smells whatsoever. It actually fit quite a bit of wood in there. So that's not smoke from the fire, that's the manufacturing paint and chemicals. So I can notice some color changes. And yeah, so have a hot fire outside for 2 hours minimum, I would say. Get all those fumes and smells off of it, and you should be good to go to install inside. This is a sign of a high efficient stove as well. No smoke, like none. Okay, it's hot but no smoke, so it's burning super efficiently. Something about having a fire makes me want to grab that chair, put it in front of this thing for hours, grab a beer, but instead I better go install the chimney.
The heck with a wood stove, we need a fireman's pole down here.
This is the piece that supports the insulated chimney, if you can believe that. So it goes in my framing, which is I framed the right size, and we just screw it into there. But I already found an issue we ran into. I have to take this board off. Joy to the world. This is the bottom of the chimney, insulated chimney. And this is the bottom piece that fits in here when you drop it down. So this just simply goes in and twists. That's it. So this part just sits in there. Like that. That's literally it. And then this fits perfectly in my framing. And I screw that down good. Sweating, putting in a chimney when it's plus 30 outside. Fun stuff, even with air conditioning. And then I think it's this one. There, that shield. Ouch. So yeah, this part just slips down right to the bottom there. Nice gap, double gap for all your framing. And then this piece is the shield. That is that part done. See, it's all insulation shield, or shielded from the wood everywhere. Kind of a double shield almost, like that. And then I'm gonna have to cut this down an inch off of that and the trim ring. So if a person wanted, they could put a big wood stove, like this is a 6-inch chimney, you can put a full-size wood stove, but because this cabin is so tiny, just the Cubic Mini is gonna cook us out of here. So I cut that trim ring really nice and it just pops up there. I might throw a couple screws in. This is the adapter from Cubic Mini. This is their 3-inch chimney that converts to 6-inch double wall chimney. So this 6-inch chimney I got though is Super Vent from Home Depot. Apparently Duravent, the bottom insulated chimney support, is a double layer, and this Cubic Mini one is a double layer. So it just fits up like that, but on the Duravent you have a double chimney thing. Had a piece of double wall pipe laying around. Traced my mark around with pencil. Zippity-doo-dah it off. I don't know, I guess it kind of looks nice, I suppose, and then I got something I can actually screw to a little better. Used wood stove pieces. Ugh. I'm just using these self-tapping zinc screws. You can get black ones to match like wood stove and stuff, but boy, I would not call this my best work, but it was nice to get this other double wall in. If I want, I can replace these screws with black ones, or what I might do, you just get some flat black stove paint, and I could paint this pipe, because this one wasn't black, and it kind of looks a little bit silly, and then those screws kind of stick out. If you're doing it, maybe go with the Duravent install. I just did Super Vent because that's what all my other chimneys are. Now going through the roof, so it's funny, the loft supports the insulated chimney, and the vault, you just have to get the chimney through while leaving clearances for fire. But the hole, the 6-inch chimney, insulated chimney, is a 10-inch hole, so that's a 10-inch, but at an angle, it's literally an oblonged oval. So at my parents' cabin they built in the 80s, it was the same thing. The loft supports the chimney, and then it goes out the roof. So they supported it, just put some metal screws or some metal pieces to keep it away from the roof framing, left an air gap. I'm going to put fireproof insulation in there. And then they had to custom make kind of the oblong, figure out the angles. So I got to get my math stuff out to figure that eventually. Oh, I hate tight spaces. Who built this thing? Does that look like an oval to you? Looks like an oval to me. It's probably going to work. Don't ask me how I did it. I just did it. It was hard. Just took the darn thing right out of there. What a pain in the butt. Now it's easier cutting. Let's cut in a skylight, shall we? What's the worst that could happen? Safety first. Pulled the chimney up because don't want any sawdust in there. Now let's cut the metal out. Probably should go get my metal blade, but this demo blade might do it. Let's give her a go. Safety first. It's good. Let's stoke this again. Ooh, down to coals. Get her hot. A fair bit of lumber goes in there, really. Don't fall off the scaffold again, Dean. You big dummy. So, literally just throw her down onto the other one and give it a little twist. I have snap lock rings too. I'm going to put on all the joints. Then another section should take me, well, should be enough over the roof. And this thing, now we got to figure out the tin. Exactly where to cut it. Ooh, that works good. I can screw there and there. Oh, this is easy. Figure out where I cut the tin. So the tin's got to go over this and under that. And make it easy on myself. I think I'm going to just slip it through, so make a notch. Yeah. You will see shortly. So this is such a funny thing because it has a loft that supports the chimney and then it goes through the roof. Now, if you just had a finished cathedral roof and not going through a loft, then you get the cathedral ceiling support. So you're not going to see it in this video, but because I got to wait for Amazon delivery for that ceramic insulation. But put this aluminum tape over the wood, and then I got good clearance, like over 1.5 inches. And then put that ceramic insulation in there, and then I have to make a custom oval trim ring out of some piece of metal, but I won't get that for this video. Maybe you'll see it in the future. Like and subscribe. Done, except I just need a little bit of silicone, high heat silicone to put on top of here. But this kind of vents to let any heat dissipate out. This is a rain guard, so you silicone up here. This doesn't need any silicone, but I might throw a little bit in one spot. But yeah, it's done. I should put the cap on actually, and then it's waterproof in case it rains. Oh yeah, over the roof. Be nice to have another length, get up really high, but it's just a 3-inch chimney pipe for that little Cubic Mini. It's not gonna give one spark, I bet. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you install a 6-inch insulated chimney. Actually, before I call it a day, let's load up the Cubic Mini here. Make sure the last of the fumes are burnt out so I can actually probably install it tomorrow. Wasn't supposed to rain last night, but she poured. So unfortunately that got wet. It'll just sun dry. And I'm sure glad that I worked till 10 o'clock last night to get the chimney in. Even without the silicone, not a drop of water in the cabin. So I debated calling her quits because I was a little tired last night, leave a big gaping hole. But sure enough, she rained, and I'm happy I worked my butt off as usual. So now we'll install that little guy and silicone up there. I'd venture to say a high heat sealant is overkill. You just have to do around here so the rain doesn't sneak in. But did a few things anyways. And again, it poured last night with no silicone whatsoever and no water in the cabin. One final cleanup. You want to watch me screw this up? I hate it. This and linoleum. Finicky. I'm almost embarrassed to put this on YouTube. I guess it's not too bad. And with no room to spare, the window, the mattress. This is a double insulation shield. This won't barely get warm. This you'd be able to touch with the roaring fire. This is that locking ring. Put that at the back, might as well, so nobody snags on it. Stove kind of discolored and things. I'm going to clean that glass off and shop vac out the ashes before we bring it inside. But she should be seasoned and ready to go. No more fumes or smell when I install it in the cabin. That is cute. So I just got to use that little piece of pipe. Guess I got an extra one of those. And I am going to paint that black. I do not like how that looks. So I got this little guy flow that way and fits right there. And it looks like I cut it right at that joint there. So that worked out very well. Take the protective film off. So this is the inner. This is the flow, the way that it goes. Inner is crimped down. Like that. And then the outer. Put my cut side up. We have to put the shielding on the stove. This part is the bottom shield. If you leave the legs on, they screw into the bottom of the legs. So we are not using that because we bought the base. But all of this stuff is the shielding. This goes up the wall. Beautiful stainless. And this bracket goes on the back of the stove right there. But first, I guess I put the shield on, I think. Like this. Yeah, so I can get in there better. Okay. So we are using the shield kit because we're in a tight space for everything we're doing in this stinky little cabin. So this one goes behind it, then there's ones that come off to the side, and then two that go up the wall, and it's going to be a thing of beauty. So flathead screwdriver, you can reach those. I don't have one at the bunkie. I don't want to go back to the shop, but I do have this socket thing, so this will be good. Then for the side heat shield, put these. This is the left side. Oh, that's pretty cute. Same on the other side. And that is that part of the heat shield. So I don't scratch my floor anymore. Put the instructions underneath the wood stove. Can't do this one-handed, sorry guys. Now you need the heat shield on here and along the whole back where the chimney is if it is less than 9 inches away. So I'm just over 7, so I do need the heat shield on the back. And then if you're 20 inches from the side, then you should put a side shield on. So that is a fair ways. I'm pretty sure it was 20. So then you will need the side shield, or you can make your own, but Cubic Mini has one. So I should actually put this heat shield on behind first. So you got your heat shield, and then 2 spacers and 2 screws for each one. There is no way I can get that top screw in there to heat shield the top. So do I lower it all down a little bit, or do I drill a hole? Decisions.
Self-tapper if you don't have a drill bit.
There we go.
Okay. Got 10,000 fingerprints on the beautiful stainless, but we have cleaners. Now we're going to try to tip this sucker into place now that the back is on. This cover goes like that, so it can go up a little more. That's good. Oh yeah. There we go. That'll work. Here goes nothing. Once again, 3-man job. But don't worry, Dean can do it. Sliding the wood stove on that paper so I'm not scratching my floor. Come on. Oh, we're in. We're in! Which means I can shuffle the stove back into place. Touching everything. Give her a quick wipe down. And that's her. I'll see, I might have a piece of stainless or something. I could put a bigger backdrop, but actually that's quite nice. It does look quite good. And that will protect the heat because this is wood. It does go all the way up and all the way to this heat shield. So that works pretty good. And I am going to bolt it to the floor permanently. And it actually gives you holes in there, 4 holes. Because of little kids and, well, even me, bump into it. It's so little and light, it'll just move. And another thing, maybe I should get a hearth, but actually I do have room, so I could slip something under there. I just don't want it sticking out where you'd stub your toes in this little cabin. Because it does have a good ash pan, and this base does come out this far. I'll have to think about that. I think we'll just call it good for now. But I need to burn some wood. Even though it's plus 30 degrees, I'm sweating and the air conditioning's on. I need to burn a piece of paper to see how fast it drafts. You know what? Before I get too crazy here, let's bolt this sucker to the floor. Oh yeah, like a rock. That's better. And I got the little mini fireplace tools. Watch this. You get the little pinchers for playing with logs. I'll put that on this side. On the hanger. A little shovel for cleaning out ash. Everything is mini with the Cubic Mini. In my mini cabin. And a little pick for digging in there. And that hangs right on those brackets. And if all that's not cool enough, I almost forgot. I got the oven that sits perfectly in here, and you can bake on it. Your little mini baking. Got a thermostat on it. I'm going to try to bake something. I don't even know what. Get a little mini pizza or something. And if that's not enough, I also got the water jacket that goes on the side, like my antique wood cook stove. A oven, thermometer works, water jacket, ash pan, and the fire chamber. The fire chamber is actually smaller in width than the Cubic Mini, but longer. So I use this hardwood, long pieces of wood in here. And the thing is with this, you just want a little bit of heat, but most of it goes to cooking. So the Cubic Mini with the oven attachment and water jacket reminds me of a miniature version of this. This isn't particularly efficient, but you can control the heat to the oven and the hot plates fairly well. The Cubic Mini gasification technology is far superior. It's just for tiny spaces. And in here it's got a little spigot. So I'm going to install this right now. See, the spigot goes through that. Washer on the outside. Get in there.
Then spigot goes in, same thing on the inside, and a nut to tighten up the spigot. So this is the water jacket. You put water in and you get hot water. So to put the water jacket on, I'm going to take off that first. And this water jacket hooks on your little thing so it sits flat against the stove. So all you do is put water in here and you can have hot water. That is cool. And a cooker. Oh man, that's pretty cool. I am excited. So you got the base, place to store your wood. You got the tools. You got the oven. You got the water jacket. You got a super high efficient stove, miniature stove. You got the heat shield that's going to actually radiate heat back. Beautiful stainless chimney up straight to a 6-inch. So it's going to have a draft. I got to go find some kindling. Hopefully it's not all wet because it rained, because I'm so excited. Even though it's really, really hot out and the air conditioning's going, I don't care. Found some. Actually, let's just test the draft. Okay, no little kindling right now. Where's my lighter? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Maybe, yep. Okay, I want to see how good this drafts. So this is high and high for airflow, the control. Is that paper like wet too? Okay, let's see this draft chimney straight up. You see the smoke? No smoke comes out, door wide open. Look at that. That's why you put a chimney straight up and an insulated chimney. No going out the side and up. It's too much cold pipe. It's totally worth putting in the insulated chimney and doing this like certified and then doing it straight up. Look, no smoke.
So even from here, we're getting a draft, okay, from outside of the stove. You can get a whole bunch of accessories for this stove. So I got the black one. You can also get one that has some more bronze trim on it. I got the base for it that bolts to the floor, nice and secure. And you also store your firewood in there. The little miniature tools and tool holder on the side of the base. The heat shield at the back, and it comes up the sides that radiates the heat back and also protects the structure behind it. The double wall stainless steel chimney that you get, and the adapter that connects to the WETT certified chimney. I also got the oven on the top, and I also got the side water jacket, so you always have warm water. Depending on what size of building that you're heating and how efficient the building is, this can heat like 200-300 square feet. However, my house is 800 square feet, and this Cubic Mini would actually be very well suited for my house. My house is super efficient, 800 square feet, passive solar. So all winter long, during the day, we got too much heat from the sun, and at night we have a tiny little fire in our current wood stove, a full-size one, just to kind of bring it up to t-shirt temperature. And then by morning, it's nice and cool, and you can have a little tiny fire as well. This would be well suited for my 800 square foot house, but I installed this permanently in a 10 by 10 with a 10 by 13 loft, little bunkie cabin. There is no insulation in these walls. It's just 1.5 inch lumber inside and outside. So it has like an R value of 2 or even less than 2, R20 down here, and a little bit of insulation up there. So for 100 square foot footprint plus a little loft upstairs, this little thing is going to cook us out in the wintertime, even though it's not that efficient of a building. One of the other concerns that I had was how long is the burn time on these things. So many years ago, I actually bought myself their smaller model, their Cub, and it was quite small. So actually, my recommendation, if you're going to go with a Cubic Mini, even though you have a small space and you think the Cub model is probably good enough, get the Grizzly because it's small enough, and with the controls, you can actually control it quite well and get a little bit longer pieces of wood. I did a test last night, but I filled it up full of hardwood, burned it really hot, and then cranked it right down and shut off all of the air to burn it as slow as possible. And I got a 2.5 hour burn time and still lots of hot coals in there. The oven was still at 200 degrees. So she is just a rip-roaring now. Door is open. Now's a good time to check outside in the dark for any sparks coming out the top of the 6-inch chimney. So it is late at night. Oh, I saw one little spark. I don't know if you can't even see me pointing. And the door is open. It is rip-roaring at full capacity, and there's not even any sparks coming out. So that glass should be nice and preheated. So now, close her up, and I'm going to leave it on high. What I would like to do is I seasoned the stove outside with that outside burn, but I'm putting this on, see what temperature it gets at, kind of season everything. The chimney, even this part, we might get some fumes off. So I got all the windows open because it's actually summertime and it's pretty hot outside. And it's already cooking in the cabin because of this. And kind of season the rest of things, get a really nice hot fire for tonight. So that soot on the wood stove is from my outside really hot burn that I did. This is a double wall pipe, so it is hot. This is absolutely cold. Cold, no heat there. This I couldn't touch up here. And I can smell a little tiny bit of the paint. Yep, sure enough. So it's good to have a nice hot burn in the summertime before you need it in the wintertime. I can see a little bit of paint kind of seasoning. So just like how I seasoned the stove, you want to season all the components. So a really nice hot burn. Perfect. So these high efficient stoves, so this is the secondary gasification, high, low. I didn't notice any changes. Oh, yes, I did. Yep. This gives it more air. This slows it down ever so slightly. Okay. This is the primary air, so there's 3 air tubes here. I'm going to close it so you can hear the difference. It's choking for air, and I'm going to fully choke it now. And that shut it right down. So with any wood stove, that's what you do. You get it rip-roaring hot, filled up with wood. It's like full capacity, and then you choke it down, and then you get a really long burn time. So I want to see exactly how long this is going to burn. And what you want to do is get it hot and then choke it so it burns longer, but also gives off less heat so you can carry yourself further through the evening. So this is secondary open with the primary closed. Rip-roaring again. It's awesome with an efficient stove to have the ability to control all of that. Whew, I'm sweating. Holy moly. So I was talking about the glass and how it's self-cleaning. So I had just kind of cleaned up and wiped the middle. But why use elbow grease? Just burn properly and nice and hot. And it actually is self-cleaning. So all of that soot cleaned itself and is almost done. A little more of a hot burn and your glass is clean. So as long as you operate a wood stove properly, then you don't have glass fogging up issues. So that first wood is maybe burned for an hour on high. And let's load it right up and then choke it down. So I opened it up. Oh, it's hot. and no smoke came out. Gotta watch I don't melt my phone. Holy moly, they say this thing's 18,000 BTUs. I'd say more like 30. Okay, I literally can't put any more. The door is still open a little bit, so we are going to close it up, let it rip roar for a minute, and then shut off the primary and secondary to choke it right down and test how long this is going to give off heat for during the night. I'm guessing quite some time. Okay, watch this, closing the door, what happens. Just ripping. So I want that to get nice and hot before I choke it down. And then we'll see how long. So I think now we are going to choke it down right away. And then see how long she burns for. It's going to be a long night. It's lukewarm, and the fire was just rip-roaring because I'm trying to season the rest of the parts. As hot as it'll ever get, and it's lukewarm. I guess we'll make some popcorn. Off-grid.
Evolution does not necessarily reward intelligence. With no natural predators to thin the herd, it began to simply reward those who reproduce the most.
It's been an hour and a half since I loaded it up with wood. This is what it looks like. So we put in all that wood at 10 o'clock. It is 12:20 now. So choke down. Coals in there. I'm gonna open it up to the air. That's what it looks like. 2 hours, 20 minutes with that hardwood and just packed in there and choked down. So before you go to bed in a relatively efficient structure, you could have a fire, have a sleep through the night, and it'll be chilly in the morning, and then have a fire when you wake up. In this little bunkhouse cabin that's not super insulated, it's just wood, you would have to get up every 2.5-ish hours, maybe push it to 3 hours possibly, to stoke it, because this thing loses quite a bit of heat. So that is one thing to consider. But after 2 hours, 20 minutes, the oven is still at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The water is still super hot in there, and it's still giving off a significant amount of heat. So, things to consider. Okay, I'm going to bed. I really didn't like how this looked. It's not my finest work, so we're going to do this. We had a hot burn already. Then we're going to paint this on, let the paint set for a bit, and then have another hot burn off any fumes in the summertime with the windows open so it's ready in the wintertime. So I'm sure glad I painted that. That looks much better. More to the quality I hold myself to. So 2.5 hours is pretty good for a small wood stove, but it's so efficient you can crank down the air and it will burn for a long time very efficiently. For example, the wood stove that I have in my house is a quote-unquote full-size wood stove, but a smaller one. It doesn't take that big of pieces of wood. Because my house is so efficient, I never put in overnight logs. We just burn some pieces of our hardwood in there to like raise the temperature a little bit before bed. If I put an overnight log in, we'd cook ourselves out of the house. For length of firewood, you can actually put in an 8-inch piece this way you can get it in. The door is 7 inches and the depth is about 7 inches as well. Height of the burn chamber is also about 7 inches. So about a 6 3/4, 7-inch piece of wood. Something like that is convenient. Now, just some wood stove tips for you, not just for the Cubic Mini, but any stove that has stove glass. The Cubic Mini is like any other high efficient full size stove, just smaller. What you want to do is get a nice hot fire, leave the door open a crack, and pre-season the glass, which is a self-cleaning glass, for about 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes where it burns really, really hot, and we're getting there, then you shut it down, shut the door, but leave it on high. So then your glass is not going to get sooted up. Once it's going really well, next time you have to load wood, try to load the new wood at the back, leave some coals at the front to keep it really hot by the glass, and the glass will not fog up on you. I noticed when I burned it hot and then I turned the temperature way down, I did get some soot build up on the glass because it choked the fire down. But then when I ran it hot again, it just cleaned the glass off for me. So I haven't had the fire going very long, and the oven's already at 400. So I've got this wide open. This is how you control the oven. I am choking it right down because that is too hot. So the temperature is going to come down now. Now, I want to bake some cookies. Ooh, that is pretty warm, but I can still deal with it at 400. Oatmeal coconut cookies. So let's cook them. So this little surface, everything's mini. After all, it's a Cubic Mini. So this is about 7 by 10, this little pan. 13 by 7.5. You could also cook your bread and meatloaf on a pan. That fits perfectly on there. The stove is choked right down. And we'll set that on there because this thing gets so darn hot. We're just going to leave those open. So that's a control, but I have it brought down all the way. This is already dropping slightly from 400. You want to cook these for about 10 minutes at 350, the wife said. Now, while those are baking, oh, still got some water. Oh man, it's like almost boiling already. It's only had a fire for like 10 minutes. But I want some tea, so we'll put some more water in there. Let that get hot, and then when it's boiling, then I put hot water with that spigot in my Canada Flag teacup. So, too hot on the glass for the air. So the bottom of that, the oven outside is only measuring that. The double wall pipe, 161 Fahrenheit. Very reasonable. This, the fire is right on that, so that will be hot. Yep. 300 degrees Fahrenheit. This should be much less. Yep, 125 Fahrenheit right there. Let's go upstairs and see the insulated chimney here. Okay. So that, again, is the blow-in insulation shield. So you blow in insulation right up to that. 80 Fahrenheit. '82 Fahrenheit. So yeah, so that's the certified insulated 6-inch chimney pipe right above where the adapter is. And yeah, you can put that bed up, kick a blanket right up against that. It is fine. Even so, I'm putting some fireproof insulation and then a metal ring just to extra protect it. But geez, it really doesn't need it. We are safe as can be. Side of the stove is very hot, 450 Fahrenheit. Wow. Insulation shield right at the back, very, very hot. This is only 90 Fahrenheit. You can even touch it, no problem. And the walls are 92, 93 Fahrenheit. And over here cools down to 84 Fahrenheit. It is quite hot outside as well. So little cabin for using the stove to cook with in the summertime. Well, we got off-grid air conditioning that runs as long as the sun is shining all day long anyway. But you just open up all the windows and you can still cook with it. It's not overly hot in there because it's a small cabin and all the windows are open. This thermal imager will be much more impressive in the wintertime, so stay tuned for that. But let's have a look, shall we? This making videos is a lot of work. Are my cookies ready yet? Oh yeah. Give it another minute. Water's boiling in the water jacket. Make myself some tea. So from just a couple sticks of wood, I baked some cookies. Forgot my oven mitts, so I guess this will have to do. Don't burn myself. Let those cool. So it is summertime and we need air conditioning on a day like today more than a wood stove, but you want to install this when it's hot outside so that it's all ready for winter. So you have to season the stove, make sure everything's working very, very well. Install it, have a burn with the windows open, so any extra paint, or I did a little bit of painting, I made sure that that's cured, and then it's all ready for winter. So if you're interested in learning some more about Cubic Mini and their high efficient wood stoves, I'll put the links in the description. You can go check it out. And again, I would recommend, because I've had both the Cub and the Grizzly. The Cub was small, the Grizzly is a nice size. The certified model would be great for putting right in your house, especially if you have a high efficient house where you just need a little bit of wood at night, like I do in my 800 square foot house. I might get another one of these and put it in there, we'll see. And don't forget to like, subscribe, even leave me a comment if this was helpful for you, or if you have one of these, let me know how you like it. I'm excited for winter, and stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing updates on how it works in my 10 by 10 bunkie when it's minus 45 Celsius out. Catch you next time. Oh, did you think I was just a YouTube poser prepper? No, I have a few years of firewood stored. This is all hardwood bundles from a milling place that I've collected. And I made a special jig for my chainsaw that cuts 14-inch pieces that work in every stove, except the Cubic Mini only takes 6-inch. So for the Cubic Mini, I am just going to use a miter saw and cut all this beautiful hardwood. This is going to burn hot and long and absolutely perfect for the Cubic Mini and the bunkie cabin. This should last about a decade. Just these 3 pieces will probably last a whole day in the middle of winter in the bunkie. Hardwood. Then go to your pallet of firewood storage bags that you obviously have prepped, and this will be perfect for transporting wood to the cabin for the Cubic Mini. One bag probably lasts multiple days in the middle of winter. And I know there's going to be a keyboard warrior saying, "Dean, but you're using electricity to cut the firewood." Well, in an upcoming video, I'm converting my solar-powered golf cart into a 10 kilowatt portable solar generator on wheels with a 48 volt inverter, so I can take my miter saw with me wherever I want to go to the pile and make my cuts, because I like electricity. I don't fiddle with twigs in the bush. 5 minutes of work for a few days of heat in the cabin. Yep, I could sit here all winter long, put my feet up, and yeah, It is hot in this bunkie.